Coach, opening a statement on tonight's game.
Just a really hard-fought college basketball game. Hats off to Binghamton for their resilience. Coach Grimes is one of the best coaches I've been around. They're always well prepared. They execute and they always play exceptionally hard until the buzzer, and that was very evident tonight. I thought Bella Pucci did an incredible job for them. We knew that coming in off the Michigan game. She played exceptionally well up there, and she was their answer late. As they dealt with some foul trouble, and we struggled to guard her late, and she made us pay. It's a disappointing loss. Leading for 47 minutes is an unusual thing to say out loud. But you got to do what's required. There's been moments where we've been exceptionally good, and there's moments that we still have to learn and grow with a young crew out there. And the basketball gods are very humbling to make sure that you do things right all the time. And if you don't, good teams make you pay. And they did, especially late into the fourth and into those overtimes. But a lot of really good learnables for our young players. If we rebound the ball the way that we need to, and don't give them 21 offensive rebounds, and we shoot a better percentage from the free throw line, we put this game away. But a lot of growth for the young people, and will be a great film session for them to learn, as we'll be in situations in the future, and will not be starstruck in those moments.
Coach, you guys were leading, as you mentioned, for 47 minutes the whole game. Can you tell me what went wrong in that fourth quarter where they were able to claw back?
Yeah, our we had some foul issue, and that forced us to play some funky lineups, and but we had to be strong with the ball. I don't know how many times we turned the ball over in the fourth quarter, but it was probably more than a handful. And in that fourth quarter, they made some really, really good plays late. I thought we executed when we needed to execute to put pressure on them. They fouled, and we went to the line and got to the line, which is important. We've got to convert, on those opportunities. And credit Pucci for, kind of putting her head down and going. I mean, hit some step backs, hit some tough threes, contested threes, and you don't want to get too close that you foul. Obviously, that happened as well. And we've just got to learn and grow from being able to guard a good player who's hot. But I thought we executed to maintain leads in both overtimes and put ourselves in really good positions. The fourth quarter, it was 29-23. It was +6 that quarter for them. And I would harpen that to some of the turnovers, some defensive rebounds that we didn't come up with, or the ones that we did, they tied us up and had the possession arrow. So it's the little incremental things that you got to learn and grow from, and credit them for putting themselves in the best position to close out the game.
Of course, you never want to lose a game, but with losses come learning opportunities. What are 3 key takeaways that you can take away from this game that you learned in order to be able to help you throughout the season?
Yeah, late game execution of, I've learned that Shayna Brew's really good with the ball in her hands. Late game, I learned that Naira Clark, wants the ball in her hands. Late game, I learned that she's willing to step in and knock down free throws and is not too big for the moment. Learned that Natalie Johnson wants to, guard one of the better players, and we saw some kids step up and in some situations. And there was a lot of good learnables from that. And then, I think we've got to learn how to contain a little bit late without fouling and still, and then perhaps execute a foul situation up 3, coming long. Hindsight being 2020, we've practiced that before. I didn't feel like it was the right time to do that. There could be a situation in the future that we do that. But for this group and learning and doing all that, I certainly didn't want a 4-point play. Certainly didn't want a 3-point play. And, a great player made a great shot from, 27 feet, to force it to overtime.
Now, Clark, of course, you had 19 points in today's game. I know it is almost sorrow because you had 19 points, but your team loses. As a player perspective, what do you think you guys could have done better in this game?
I think we executed well. We could have just took like one more step to doing what we know we're supposed to do. Like saying, we know we got to box out and we got to rebound. I feel like we was there, but we got to push back and actually make the contact.
And just as I asked your coach, what are like some key takeaways that you could take from this game to help you guys go on to the next game with a better, mentality?
I would say one is don't expect anything. I feel like we started to expect it to come to us. Another one is to just pay attention to the little things, even when you don't think it matter. And then my last one is just to rebound.
Naira, second career double-double, career high in points. Just not the result that you want tonight, but just talk about the resolve of this team. Continue to fight, continue to grow. You had, I think, 4 players in double figures. Just, that fight that if they were going to take the game, they were going to have to earn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all did well being aggressive to score, and we did well sharing the ball. And I feel like if we keep that up, it'll come to us.
Coach, just, you said it's going to be a great film session just moving forward into Xavier on Monday.
It is. She made mention of rebound. That's twofold, right? Rebound from today and see if it can springboard us, further. The hunger is there. As she said, we've got to do hungry and focus, to completion when the clock is at 0. And I think, this is a very smart basketball team. Anytime they've been challenged, they've learned and grown from it from the beginning of the summer, June 8th, until now. And again, you can deserve victory, but you've got to earn it. And I think, credit Binghamton for putting up a hell of a fight and coming out on top. But we will learn and grow from, leading for 47 and 11 seconds further. And I was really, really impressed with some of our young folks and their tenacity. So the film session, the time and score things, the shot selection late, we've got to understand that a little bit better. But having gone through it, it should sting. It will. But we can't let Binghamton beat us twice. And we've got to be ready to go on Friday to learn. We've got to recover really well and got to be ready to tackle a talented Big East team that's coming in on Monday. And that's the best opportunity that we can have is to get back on the floor and fight and do exactly what we need to do, even better.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you being here.